human trafficking. My trafficking began in Canada and crossed into the United States. I was stalked, hunted, and ignored by the very systems that were meant to protect me. This is why, with my father, Dale Richardson, we started the CARES Project, an Indigenous survivor-led movement for humanity. We are dedicated to exposing human trafficking, government corruption, and holding institutions accountable. The judicial branch is broken. It has failed to restrain the evils that have come upon this republic. Whether it's family court failures, weaponization of the judiciary, COVID-era harms, or human trafficking, the courts have allowed these issues to continue unchecked for too long. One of the most powerful tools we're using is the petition for redress of grievances. These are lawful constitutional actions rooted in the founding principles of this country. On May 19, 2026, a formal petition for redress of grievances was submitted to the United States Congress. This petition is demanding that Congress and the President use the powers under Article 4, Section 4 to preserve this Republican form of government by restraining these abuses pending congressional investigation. Through the CARES Project Action Plan, we are mobilizing people across the United States to strengthen this effort. This petition has been created as a template. If you or someone you love have been hurt by these same systemic failures in the courts or by government institutions, your evidence matters. When you come forward, please bring your evidence along with a copy of the petition for redress of grievances. This helps connect your story to this growing constitutional record being placed before Congress. We are asking you to stand with us. Join the CARES Project Action Plan and help us build a precedent that demands accountability and protects the God-given rights of American families. Our united voices will compel Congress to uphold the Constitution and safeguard our liberties. United we stand, one nation under God. I will close with my favorite quote. The greatest want of the world is the want of men. Men who will not be bought or sold. Men who in their inmost souls are true and honest. Men who do not fear to call sin by its right name. Men whose conscience is as true to duty as the needle to the pole. Men who will stand for the right, though the heavens may fall. Thank you.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the CARES Project podcast. Today, we're here with Mark Cook. He is an election integrity expert who's been, blowing the whistle on this for years and fighting to safeguard the country. You want to, introduce yourself. Welcome to the show and introduce yourself to our audience, please.
Sure, absolutely. Great to be here. Thank you very much, Dale. Always appreciate it. My background, cybersecurity, forensics, IT. I started programming when I was 10 years old. Was never into politics, had really no interest. I figured other people do politics, I do computers. And after the 2020 election, leading up to it, I knew something wasn't right. By the way, just full disclosure, I was a Democrat longer than I was a Republican. In fact, most of my life I'd been a Democrat. Voted for Obama. I bought it hook, line, and sinker. I really thought we were going to get the hope and the change and the transparency because I knew there were problems with our nation. And I thought that someone that made all those promises would actually follow through with them. I've seen other people lie to me in life for, I don't have no idea why. I just didn't assume that someone running for president of the United States would be so bold as to lie straight to our faces. But nonetheless, I've had people do that to me before. I should have known better. I opened my eyes. I saw what was going on. And we the people have been fighting a system much larger than us, and people that are involved in it that are seemingly, they think they're much more powerful than us. But unfortunately, there's a lot more of us. We just don't realize the power that we have here. And we need to start exercising that power here by raising levels of awareness and taking action. Now, I got involved in elections because I did switch parties because the Democrat Party went so far left of where I was. I thought, well, I just don't fit in that party anymore. And I thought, well,
Yes.
I guess I fit better in the Republican Party. So I joined the Republican Party. And, my ideals, I'm more of a conservative person. I still love our planet. I still, don't want to waste anything. I literally don't, I don't throw things out just for the sake of filling up, dumpsters.
Mm-hmm.
I am responsible with on our environment. I love our planet. I'm a fan of solar. In fact, I live off grid myself, and I love to be able to live as much as I can without taking. I like to give more to the environment than I take from it. Essentially, I think that just
Yes.
makes sense. So that's me. And then I got involved in elections because I was asked to go out to DC right after the 2020 election to try to help figure out what had actually happened and see if we could figure out where the fraud was, because the results didn't seem to match the input. And when
Yes.
the output doesn't match the input, I'm a computer guy, something's wrong when they don't
Exactly.
match. And I knew it didn't line up, and I just wanted to get to the bottom of it. I really didn't know if there was fraud or not. It seemed like there certainly could be the chance for fraud, and I wanted to look into it to find out more. And I was given an opportunity, thanks to God, to be able to do just that. So I dove in when I was offered the opportunity to go out to DC, and I couldn't believe what I saw. I really saw an election system that was so poorly designed that it was abusable in almost every possible way. It was like a second grader set up the system. And I'm not talking about just one voting system. I'm talking about the entire ecosystem, from the voter registration, validation, tabulation, all the way down to the reporting, election night reporting. And what I saw was massive ability for abuse at almost every vector of this system. And then I identified the different areas of abuse that would result in particular outcomes or particular symptoms that we might not result. And I tried to create a diagram in order to be able to go through the election to see where it could be manipulated based on what I thought they could do with the given environment. And I gave all that information. I floated it on up. Eventually, I saw one of my diagrams in a picture in the background of the White House during like
Yes.
November, December 2020. Even got to, at one point I investigated, did a quick forensic investigation of the Hunter Biden laptop. And so what I've
Yes.
realized is we're all being lied to. We've all been lied to
Oh.
about
Oh.
so many
Yes.
things, and our elections totally lied to. So there's my background. That's how I got into this. And once I saw what I saw, I couldn't unsee it. So I'm in it to win it.
Yeah, I agree that we're all being lied to. And for me, like with my background in mechanical engineering as a technologist, I was looking at the COVID response, and when I watched what was done there, I saw a control system failure. And then
Yeah.
when I watched what they did to implement the changes to the elections, I was like, wait a second, you can't do that, especially like with the United States, the way the Constitution is written. I'm like, I don't see anything about changing the Constitution in case of pandemic. So I was like, no. And then when I saw the results of how the 2020 went down, I was like,
Hmm.
absolutely not. Because everybody, I mean, watching Biden, he didn't go anywhere. He was pretty much in his basement, and then he got the highest amount of votes ever. I was like, no.
There's just no way. And really, I don't care who the winner was. If Trump had won and there was cheating, I'd still call it out, because I'm
Yes.
not the guy that ignores the cheating just because my candidate wins. In fact, for this LA County stuff that's just happened, I've had people talk to me about it and say that if Spencer wins, don't expose any of the fraud, is what I was told.
What?
And I basically said, sorry, that ain't how I work. So I don't need to, I'm not gonna be working with you too much. If you think it's okay to benefit from fraud, and allow fraud to stay there, but you only call it out if you don't benefit from it, that ain't how I roll.
That okay? I okay. That does
Yes.
that's maddening because I don't care
And that didn't come
how.
from Spencer. That did not come from Spencer, just so you know.
Yes, but I'm saying I don't care what happens in that situation, who wins or loses. The process has to be fair. Sometimes you're not going to get the
Yep.
result that you're going to like, but this is the will of the people. If the majority of the people want that person in, then they should get in based on the process being fair. Because if you taint the
Right.
process for one person, you've tainted it for everyone, and nobody can sit down and say anything is going to be fair. And then you have basically selections instead of elections, which is what we're seeing now.
Yeah. Yep. We have to end this. This is ridiculous. And what do? We just flip from one side to the other. And we cannot keep going through this chaos. This is ridiculous. Literally, elections are monopolizing people's lives that care about them. And the people that don't care about elections and are just disconnected from it, they're suffering the consequences of this anyway. So we're all suffering, regardless of our involvement. We are all suffering consequences of a system that allows a group of people to cheat while we all get cheated out of our voice, no matter what side we're on. I'm done with it. I'm not putting up with it anymore.
No. And I understood when I saw what was going on with COVID. I knew they were going to cheat. I knew it. Like I said, the risk potential for cheating was astronomically high with what they were doing. I actually on December 4th of 2020, we actually went to file in the Supreme Court of the United States about this very thing, because when you begin to examine the risk is too great in order not to investigate. And when you're looking at something that severe, obviously the case analyst just made some excuse that the filing fee was missing, which then they sent it back. But I was like, what are you talking about? But at the end of the day, when you have the risk of losing your republic, your country, wherever country, because they cheated here in Canada in the election in 21 through the COVID. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, you're no longer in a free society. You're in some type of authoritarianism, and you're watching here in Canada. We're pretty much going to full blown communism, and you guys are going down the line behind us. This can't.
Yeah, I've had people call from Canada actually asking me the same thing: is, do you think our elections, could we be susceptible like the U.S. is? And I started looking around. I realized, yeah, you have the same voting system starting to be used. I mean, they're literally sneaking it in all these different areas. The same patterns they did here, the same exact thing they did here. Yeah.
Yes, and actually, what they're doing now, it's like with what was it in when Bush and Al Gore had the election, and it was going down into Florida, and there was ballot boxes on the beach and all that kind of stuff. These are the types of things like the chain of custody, because we don't use the voting machines in the federal election. They're used in other areas, and they're becoming more popular. But it doesn't matter, because at the federal level, they have these chain of custody issues where they don't count the votes right where they get them. They take them from the polling station and they take them somewhere else. And they were seeing that there were bags of like votes that were getting dropped off at a mall that they were calling the election.
Here, hold on a second. I got to show you this.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can, if you throw me up full screen here, or if you can. Yeah. So check this out right here. So this is exactly what you're talking about. There are three main areas where elections are abused. I've been studying this for 6 years solid: pre-county, at county, or post-county. And what you're just talking about, you're basically talking about chain of custody issues of the ballots, and that's essentially at county. Within, we say, the election system, before the ballots actually arrive to be counted. And some of that shenanigan can happen pre-county as well. But yeah, that's the area that it's being abused. A little bit of area 1 and most of area 2 there. And then what they're trying to do slowly is they're trying to sneak in those electronic tabulators, those electronic voting systems, which will make the abuse vector, the attack surface, much larger at the at county. So it's a big shell game of opening up all these vectors of abuse into the election. So when you said that, I wanted to point this one out here. This is how I've documented and pulled the thing apart. Anyway.
Well, yes, and considering that Dominion is a Canadian company, I don't trust that, because
you guys did this to us. It's your fault.
Oh, yes.
Canada destroyed the United States. I'm kidding. It's all right.
The government and the oligarchy, absolutely. But I mean, the way that, because here the crown has been getting away with murder, literally, and just avoiding all kinds of responsibility. And this is where, like, I mean, if you can't have an election, you can't have a country. Like, I just, Like it's
There's
his
no
base.
freedom.
It's and then it comes back like with the judicial system and want to watch all the election integrity cases go since 2020. Everything single one has been shut down because of some
Of course,
issue on standing or some technicality. And even
it's an illusion. All of it.
yes,
The
it,
election system is an illusion, right? An illusion of choice. The judicial system, the justice system, that's just an illusion of having justice.
yes, because on on a state court, like when I was watching, for example, like the ones with Kerry Lake and some of the ones that were going on at state levels in various states, the reasons that they're giving, you cannot actually make those decisions based on that because there's no procedure that can supersede the U.S. Constitution on the supremacy clause. So how are you going to take the substantive issues of like basically your entire republic, which is what the Constitution is based on, and say, oh well, because of this technicality or you lack standing or whatever else like this, that we can't hear the case? Excuse me?
Yeah.
You need to be taken off the bench immediately, investigated and prosecuted. Right? Like there's you can't do this, but the judges are doing this, and people have too much faith in the judges and that position to challenge them, and they should be challenged. They shouldn't be allowed to just do what they're doing rampantly because they're protecting the fraud.
It's not judges. That's the concept is supposed to be judges, but really what we have is a lot of criminals that have infiltrated these areas. And so I have got to explain to a lot of people, I didn't have this realization for a while either. KYE, know your enemy. And our enemy, we're not fighting. For a long time, I was trying to understand, why doesn't Katie Hobbs understand this? Like, why doesn't she get that the citizens don't actually have any way to verify their vote? Why doesn't Jocelyn Benson understand that we can't certify an election where there's all kinds of reasons that it shouldn't be certified? Like, why don't they get it? We've explained it to them. Why aren't they get? Because we didn't know our enemy. We thought our enemy was just someone that didn't. It's not someone that doesn't understand. Our enemy are people that do understand and don't give an F. That's the problem. And that's a criminal. So we're literally trying to educate and negotiate with criminals. It's
Yes.
absurd. It's an absurd waste of time. We have to beat them at their own game, and we have to beat them alternatively. We're never going to win playing their game with the rules they wrote that they could get to keep changing and ignore. They're basically changing the rule book on us as we go, like you just explained.
Yes, and this is one of the reasons why, like with what my daughter talked about at the beginning, doing the petitions for redress, because I was talking to Sheriff Richard Mack about this, and he said when you have like investigations like this, like which is treason, with the way that they're going out and using force and trying to take over the country, he's like, this is the mechanism that you use to get those types of investigations. And so we know that the Congress is filled with criminals because, I mean, for every one politician in there that wants to do right, there are 10 that don't. And so
more than that, I think.
Yes. So in order to get things done, there has to be public pressure to go at them.
Mhm.
And I'm not saying that what I'm doing is a magic bullet. It is just one of the things that is to be done with other things. But this is one of the things that I've always said is that the elected officials, they need to start feeling the heat. The people have to be persistent in what they're doing, to demand what is going on so that they begin to start feeling uncomfortable and dread going to work because there's always going to be people in their face saying, what are you doing? And eventually they're going to crack. Some of them are going to get scared. They're going to just go away. Some of them will cave into the public pressure. But either way, we get the result that we will, because the next person that comes along isn't going to want to do this, because eventually they know if you keep denying people's rights right off the bat, you know that there's going to be consequences. It cannot last this long. They know that. And so we have to put the heat up on them.
I'll add a little bit of clarification here, because I did group everyone together, and I don't want anyone to think that I think they're all criminals. I know they're not, and I know that some of them are just good people that feel like they don't have any other option because of maybe bribery, blackmail, or threats. And we all know that those three things are very real. And you're right, we need to create public pressure. And there's got to be so much public pressure that the public pressure exceeds the blackmail pressure or the
Yes.
bribery pressure or the threat
Yes.
pressure. That's what has to happen. Overwhelming public pressure is going to be what it's going to take. And unrelenting and
Yes.
only increasing. You have to
Yes.
understand that. We will only increase our public pressure. We will only get larger. There is nowhere to go. There's no way you win. It's every minute you spend is going to make it more difficult on you, and the consequences will only be greater. That's it. There's only one way we're taking this.
I wholeheartedly agree, because they have to understand that we're not going to quit. That no matter what
Nope.
you do, you're never going to get away with this. Like every politician, like I don't know if you watched how Justin Trudeau was being treated before he ended up resigning and going away. No matter where he went, people were on him like white on rice, giving them an opinion. I don't necessarily agree with everything that people were doing, but the fact is that that type of unrelenting pressure is what that every single politician that's going against the will of the people and not standing up for the people, that's what they need to face, no matter where they go.
I have no choice. We have no choice. That's absolutely what has to happen. And turns out, if you want to be liked or loved by your people, here's an idea: do things they want, because you're there to represent them. So it's really easy to be loved. If you're not liked as a politician, you are doing the wrong thing. It's that simple.
That's exactly it. And so let's talk a little bit about what you guys are doing right now to work on the election integrity. I know you're out in Colorado. Let's talk a little bit about what's going on there first.
Well, I right now I'm actually not in Colorado. I've been on the road for like almost, I think I started my 4th year now on the road. I bought a truck, trailer, and I've been driving across the entire nation. And I'm out on the East Coast right now. I'm in Rhode Island, and I'm just trying to educate as many people on the ground as I possibly can. Kind of doing like a Paul Revere tour around the country. But I will be in Colorado here shortly, coming up at the end of the month at the Rocky Mountain Voice event, but I'm going to be in Vegas here in a couple weeks, very, very soon. And then other Colorado news: Tina Peters was commuted finally by Jared Polis, the governor. We have no idea why he took so long to commute her. I'm glad he did. Thank you, Jared. Should have never even gone that far, and really she should have been completely exonerated, at this point. But we're working on it. She's under appeal right now. Tina's a wonderful person. If everyone knew the truth about Tina, the entire country would love this woman. The problem is so many people have lied about her and lied about what she did. And those that believe the lies hate her because they base what they think on fabrications. And if the fabrications were true, I wouldn't like her either. But unfortunately, it's all fabrication. It's made up, it's lies. And what she did is she actually caused the exposure of this whole little illusion system that they've got. And that's what they protect more than anything, is this election illusion system, because without it, they have to rely on blackmail, bribery, and threats to control everything. And that's a lot of extra work, and it's easier to get caught, and people slip up and they don't have full control. But if they have control of the election system, where the people are appeased because the people think they have a voice, and they can subtly manage the results of the elections and manipulate those to select people rather than allow the citizens to elect them. As long as the citizens think they're electing people, when the cabal is actually the ones selecting people, it's a win for them on both accounts. They get their guy or girl into place, and they keep the citizens at bay. The citizens are all happy, or they're slightly frustrated, but the election. But as soon as the peasants stop believing that the elections are real, which, by the way, they're not, but when they finally realize that they're not real, the citizens will rise up and create massive public pressure, and they will rip that system away and replace it with one that does work. And then they lose their easy button. The bad guys lose their easy button, and they got to go back to old school.
Yes.
And that's what we're going to do.
Well, and with Tina Pierce, like I said, like I was in Colorado when this happened. I was in the immigration detention when I came to bring the stuff about COVID, and they didn't want me to step foot in the United States. I was like, absolutely not. And then when I saw what happened to her, I was incensed with what went on because
Yeah.
I was like, there was no reason. And then it made sense why they were doing all of the things that they were doing because they were protecting their crime. And they were, this is like mafia tactics and so forth. And when I saw what they did to her, and I'm like, they were like, she was a grandmother, she had lost her son, and all these things. They were willing to destroy an innocent person to go ahead and protect whatever they were doing. I'm like, that's a level of ruthlessness that I cannot stand. I cannot tolerate it. And I don't know how anybody can. I don't.
It's demonic. Not only an
Yes.
innocent person that is a gold star mother.
Mm-hmm.
A son that she lost that devoted his life to protect the very country that went and attacked this woman. That is demonic. That right there, that is the definition of demonic.
Yes, and even with her case, what they did on the state level when the FBI was investigating it, it was just like it was like they intentionally had the state prosecute her so that they couldn't do anything federally, right?
Of course. Yeah, these people are not stupid. They may be demons, but they're not stupid demons. They're
No.
very smart demons, and they had planned the whole thing out. They knew they were going to steal the election. They planned the theft for years before, and they also planned contingencies. They war gamed the whole thing out, and they had everything planned. Now there's some things that happened that they didn't expect. I'm sure. I guarantee they did not account for me. That I promise you, because I didn't even account for me. That's just God like picked me up and said, "Get to work," and kicked me in the ass. And I don't think they accounted really for Tina either. And some other people. And they certainly didn't account for Tina being as strong as she is. I mean, everyone else caved. Tina is the only person who did not cave in that entire deal. And she suffered greatly for it. But she did the right thing. And if every American was as brave as Tina Peters is, we would already have this election system fixed.
Yes.
And that's why they had to crush Tina Peters, because they don't want anyone to be that brave.
This is true. It's like the same reason why they brought the hammer down on the people in J6. What they did here with the guys at the trucker convoy and the guys at Coots. Anybody who stood up against these tyrannical regimes, the hammer came down on them. Then that's just really what it is. It's like the mafia. They're protection racket. Like if you step out of line, they're gonna discipline you, make you an example of you, so everybody else is gonna be afraid. And this is what they did to Tina.
Yep, absolutely. And they messed with the wrong people, I can tell you that, because we are all, including you, our friends in Canada, our friends in South Korea, every citizen in this world that will be free and not be a slave to some tyrant or tyrannical regime, they have messed with the wrong people, because all together we will crush this evil. We will all be free, and there's nothing that they can do to stop that.
Yes, and I mean it's only going to get more traction. We're just going to take a short break here. We'll play commercial. We'll be right back.
Terrio, co-founder of Mark37.com. I spent my career in Silicon Valley working for high-tech infrastructure companies, and I've witnessed firsthand the surveillance apparatus they've built. Most of you already know we're in a digital war right now, but are you really aware that we're trying to fight this war with the weapons and tools of the enemy? That Android or iPhone in your pocket, that MacBook or Windows laptop, it's a tracking device feeding everything you say and do to companies that want you under their control or eliminated entirely. Every text, call, location, even how long you pause on a post, they track it all and use complex algorithms to then use this data to manipulate your behavior. If you knew someone hacked your devices and was selling your data without your consent, you'd be furious and terrified. So why are you okay with these companies doing this to you right now? Here's what they don't want you to know. There is another way. At Mark37.com, we offer phones, laptops, tablets, and even basic flip phones, all running systems big tech can't access unless you explicitly give them access. And what's even better is you also don't need to sacrifice productivity. I'm one of thousands of geeks mobilized across this country, building tools and providing education and support to help you live anonymously online before they enforce digital ID. Go to mark37.com. Sign up for a free 30-minute digital privacy consultation. Join hundreds of thousands who have decided to stop feeding their data to companies actively working to enslave us. Take back your communications. Take back your data. And may God bless you on your journey.
And so if anybody wants to go and get one of the phones and go to mark37.com, you can use the promo code CARES to get a 5% discount. I got myself one of these because I'm tired of having my data taken, especially being here in communist Canada and so forth, where the government is just violating all the tech companies. They're working together to steal your information. And even if that wasn't the case, I don't want anybody stealing my information and profiting from it because I didn't consent to that. And so, I mean, if you want to go ahead and do that, go ahead and support. Or if you want to, you can go to mypillow.com/Karis, get yourself a pillow, or support in one of the different ways that we have links in the description if you're watching on Vocal, Rumble, YouTube, or Facebook. And we have lots of ways to support. Support a good cause, and most importantly, like it and share the information. All right, kind of circling back now. So we know what they did with Tina Peters, and then she got out, and then so forth. But we still have the challenges in front of us with the midterms coming up, right? They failed to pass the SAVE Act to do, regardless of whether people agree with it or don't agree with it. It's not going to be perfect, but the fact is they did nothing, and Congress is continually blocking the door on securing elections. What do we do now?
All right. Well, we have to keep trying on the SAVE Act. Now, the SAVE Act is not going to solve all problems. The SAVE Act covers some of the abuse vectors in our elections, and they're significant abuse vectors. So I'm not saying we shouldn't pass it. We absolutely should pass it. And anyone blocking the SAVE Act absolutely is taking part in the destruction or attempted destruction of this nation. So pass the damn SAVE Act. And in addition to that, I'd recommend reading, if you go to handcountroadshow.org and you click on the big red button, if you want to know what we need to do to secure our elections, I put this whole thing together. It's really simple, bullet point by bullet point. Very simple. What we do for voter registration, for validation, for tabulation, for reporting, auditing, all of it. I lay it all out. Real simple. 2 pages. And that is the target. That's how we get free and fair elections. That's how we get elections that are simple, transparent, and verifiable by every citizen, and not just American citizens. I've even sent this PEP framework, and that's that big red button right there. I even sent the same framework to our friends in South Korea because they're going through the same battles we are. They just had a massive election stolen, and they had so many obvious problems. I'm talking simple stuff like not enough ballots. They only had half the ballots they were supposed to have at these voting centers. And then apparently they had Chinese coming up and taking the ballots and voting them. And so they had nothing left. So Korean citizens are showing up to vote, and there were no ballots for them to vote. And they were demanding that no one moves the ballot boxes until they actually bring them more ballots so they can vote. I mean, that's just one of the things they did. So that PEP plan that you're looking at right there, that is how we very simply return elections to the people. It's right there. And at the top of that plan, if you scroll to the very top of the page, if you click on that button up there, that'll take you to a proposed executive order that myself and some others authored that we gave to the Trump administration to look over. And it was exactly what needed to happen in order to return elections to the people on an emergency basis. There it is right there, 17 pages worth. Very well thought out. We spent months working on this every single day, hours and hours, going over everything to basically hand on a silver platter the solution of what could have been put into place back in November or December of last year. And then we thought, well, January is kind of pushing it. And then February came and March. And we're like, how on earth are we going to implement something of this scale in the time necessary? I mean, at some point, someone's got to realize we're about to lose our nation. It's that serious. This is the system is irredeemably compromised. That means there's no way to fix it.
Oh yes,
There's no fix.
we
So
have
we
to.
have to implement this.
Oh, we definitely have to. And this is one of the things that we addressed when we were talking about when we sent that in, because my friend Adriana DiCiaccio, she was a 3-time pardoned J6er that ended up taking down this information to Representative Anna Paulina Luna, and they were demanding the use of Article 4, Section 4, the guarantee clause, because you're guaranteed a Republican form of government. If your judicial branch has failed, you have no elections, you're having people like the weaponization of the judicial system. The courts are trafficking children like through CPS and all these different things. Like you're seeing the immigration court is like they're blocking people that are helping the country, but they're bringing in criminals to destroy the country. You have to fix it. Like, is all of the reason why every single one of these things are going forward is because the judicial branch has failed. Because the election issues wouldn't go as far if the courts did their job and restrained the government and and compelled the executive to go in and investigate and arrest these people. We wouldn't have those issues.
But the courts are already taken over.
Exactly.
The courts were already taken over. They took over the courts before they pushed the elections as hard as they've been pushing.
Exactly.
So everything's already compromised. The only thing we can do, we the people can do, is take things into our hands, which means we're going to have to start running our own elections.
Yes.
I mean, ultimately, keep the pressure up, and those that will walk, let them walk. And we keep going the traditional path. We keep fighting against the current. That's fine. And I think eventually there is a chance we can overcome this current. But at the same time, we got to be realistic. We may not overcome this current. And if we're either going to drown or we're going to start running our own elections. And if you work this all the way out, and I'm sure people are not going to like hearing this, but realistically, I ain't a stupid guy. I know exactly where this is very potentially going. The people at some point, if all other efforts are blocked, we have no other options. We're only left with 2 options. We're left with running our own elections and just disconnecting from the existing infrastructure and setting up our own infrastructure peacefully. And if we don't have that one, then we're left with a bad one. And I am doing everything I can to prevent the bad one. That's why I'm trying to get people to do all the right things before that happens, because we must avoid that at all costs.
Yes. And the election that's coming up in the midterms, this is probably the most important election in history, because if and I know both sides are corrupted, don't get me wrong, but if the Democrats get control of the House and the Senate, this is going to go a lot further, because they take 2 different pathways. No, I know.
This is a big mistake a lot of people make. It's the cabal. They're playing both sides at the same time.
I understand. They're both going to the same destination. The speed and the route are just slightly different based on the political favor of each party, because they'll tailor certain.
It's just the R or the. It's the R or the D that they wear, Dale.
Yes.
That's it. They're the same people. Somewhere R, somewhere D's. They're all demons.
Yes.
And the rest of us are citizens, and some citizens wear R's and some citizens wear D's. But the citizen R's and the citizen D's are not the same as the demon R's and the demon D's.
No. I know. I agree with you 100%. I'm just saying, when I've watched how they will engage in dealing what they're doing, they do it slightly different based on which party's in power. And that's all I'm saying.
Yes, they play us differently based on the letter that they wear.
Yes.
Absolutely. And they're flat out, they're very bold and honest on the D side.
Yes.
They tell everyone exactly what they're doing.
Yes.
But on the R side,
they lie.
The demons that wear the R, they're actually demons, and they say all the R stuff when they're not even close to it.
Yes.
And that's why I hate them even more.
I just think they all need to go. Like, as far as I'm concerned,
absolutely.
all of them go, and then replace them. Right? That's what
Yeah.
this is my thought, because I don't think of this as a Democrat or a Republican issue. It's a complete corruption issue. But we have more of an opportunity now to do something, because if they get it to have it all out in your face and there's no more deception, the fact that they have to deceive you slows it down a little bit, which is to our favor. And this is what we want. Time is what we need. And so I think that the only thing that there's really going to make a difference between now and the midterms, there really is going to have to use emergency powers. There's no way that through Congress, the way things are going, that it's going to end up getting to where it needs to go.
Yeah, they're going to have to either be creative in Congress and, again, create pressure. Pressure creates movement, right? So if they need movement in one direction, they're going to have to create some pressure that elicits that movement. And if they don't have an ability to create the pressure that elicits the movement that must happen, they're going to have to do other things. Otherwise, they're going to end up leaving the citizens to take care of business, and the citizens are going to be sloppy. I can guarantee you. I've been working with the grassroots for a long time. They have the sloppiest bunch of people I have ever seen in my life. And if you put them in charge of rescuing their nation, it's going to be sloppy.
Yes, but what they need to do is pressure. They have to put the pressure on Congress to get them to do what they need to do. This is just really, I mean, the people are the force multiplier. They just need to have it applied in the right manner, and people need to be directed, because if
And
they
get
don't,
organized.
yes,
Yeah.
if they don't, it's going to fall apart. Like, I don't care what people are doing. They need to do something constructive, something, because if you don't do anything, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, they got to stop falling for WMDs.
Yes.
Weapons of mass distraction.
Yes.
Data centers are weapons of mass distraction, everyone. By the way, stop focusing on the damn data centers. Stop focusing on all the stupid drag queen story hour. Data centers are just the new drag queen story hour. How do people keep falling for this stuff over and over and over again? All they're doing is they're throwing these manufactured crises out at people, so they focus on the crises instead of what the only important thing is your vote. That's it. It's all about the elections. Nothing else matters but the elections. Period. Because if we don't fix our elections, you work on fighting all the data centers all you want. Great. You fight them, you win. Oh, we got rid of the data centers. One election happens, the data center's right there in your backyard, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. Good job. You just wasted, years of time and all kinds of money, and you rallied for nothing, people. So stop it with the data center madness already and focus on your elections. Take your elections back, because once we take our elections back, all the other crap goes away. We can fix everything else once we're back in charge.
It's the issue is that people don't want to deal with the hard stuff, because dealing with the hard stuff is where the problems is. And this is why I sit down and I tell people, because COVID and the elections were tied together. COVID was implemented to pull off 2020. This is why they don't do anything about it, because even I was on one of Steve Stern's election integrity calls, and I pointed out that the NIH did a study that tracked the changes in the elections because of COVID. Like, they're just throwing it in your face. Like, here, we're showing you that because of what we did, all of these changes in the elections have happened, and most states had tremendous changes as a result of this. And it's like,
yeah, no shit.
It's like, yeah, I'm like, they murdered people so that they could steal the elections. Like, look,
flat out, and they're proud of it. And then they call us all stupid. But I got to tell you, look at their perspective, right? They told us what they were going to do. Mm-hmm. They went and did it right in front of our faces. We totally fell for it, every single bit of it. Of course they think we're stupid.
Yes. And we can't take this anymore. This is why I sit down and say, you have to look at, and just because they're wearing a suit and they're well-dressed and they speak well, that doesn't make them any less of a criminal. In fact, it makes them a greater criminal, because they're masking their crime and trying to put a fair front out to the people. So you have to treat every politician that you see as a criminal until they prove you otherwise, because most of them are. And in the other ones that are being bribed or blackmailed, you're not going to know the difference because they're going to act the same way. And until that pressure comes, you're never going to know who's who.
Yep. So those that are in the middle, that are blackmailed and bribed and threatened, I will offer you this. The time is now to go look in the mirror and figure out what impact you want to leave on this planet and in your life. None of us get out of this alive, no matter what. And you can't change the past. So be brave, be bold, figure out who and what you want to be, and don't be fearful, because we all stand together on this. And if you did something that was bad and you've been blackmailed as a result of it, the easiest way to deal with it, just go right out with it, throw it out all in the public and say, okay, this is what's going on. This is who did it to me. And I want to do the right thing. And I'll tell you what, you will have people rallying behind you.
Yes. And like this whole, people have to stop falling for the political theater, because all of this stuff, at the end of the day, they're all part of the same club. They might go after each other publicly, but it's really not that an issue. They're all sitting down having, I mean, they're going to the same filthy
they're putting
spots.
a show on.
Yes.
Yeah. It's all a show for them. Yeah.
And people have to, like, they have to do whatever they need to do to bring consequences. The reason why our situation got this bad was because there was a removal of consequences from everywhere. And this is what has to change. We have to bring consequences.
Well, who do you think removed the consequences? Who removed them? The criminals. The first thing they did when they got there is start to remove the consequences, because they knew they were going to commit crimes, and they want to be able to commit crimes with impunity.
And we let them do it. And we let them do it
because we were nice, we were ignorant, and good people don't see evil. That's the only problem, and that's why good people are easy victims.
Yes, and the reason why we got this far was because good people did nothing when the evil began to check, and then the people that were blowing the whistle.
Yes, they ignored the people blowing the whistle, and they didn't see it. I can't fault them for not seeing it, but I can fault some people for not paying attention when they had the opportunity.
Yes.
And I'll tell you what, I'm keeping track, just so y'all know. I'm keeping track of every single person I told what's going on, and every single one of you that did not act on what I told you. I'm keeping track.
Oh, yes, because we have to put a record of accountability, because not only what you did or didn't do or what you refused to do is a big part of it. Because if you saw something and you knew that was a problem, you're just like, no, I'm not going to do it. That becomes problematic, because then you become responsible. Like, for example, like, I mean, this and I'll, like, even with, like, for example, the stuff with the children. If you allow somebody to do that, then you're responsible. If you see somebody stealing your election and you do nothing and act like nothing's going on, you're responsible, because apathy is worse. The apathy of the people is the biggest problem that we're facing. That they're
aiding and abetting.
Yes, they don't want to do anything. They're just going to be like, not my problem. And they're just going to let people get away with it. Well, if the people stood up, they wouldn't have gotten away with it. That's the point.
It's pretty simple, right? If I see someone getting mugged, I mean, literally, we see that all the time. People are getting mugged. People are getting beat up. People are getting their heads chopped off in the middle of the street. And what is everyone else doing around them? They're sitting there like idiots with their phones trying to get a video of it. Are you freaking kidding me? I'll tell y'all right now, if you go try anything like that in front of me, I will go neutralize you in a heartbeat without hesitating.
Yes, and they should be. Because if somebody's doing that kind of filth, somebody should shoot them. Like, I don't even care. Like, why should you get away with murdering people in public?
Shoot, but I will neutralize them. Absolutely.
Well, I mean, if they're trying to kill
I'm
somebody,
not gonna let them commit a crime.
Yes, I mean, if you have to, I'm not sitting down and saying, obviously, go out and shoot somebody just for the sake of it. But if you have to save someone's life and someone's on a murderous rampage, do what you have to do, right? Protect life.
I will save that life. I will absolutely save that life. I won't hesitate 1 second.
Yeah, and so I mean, this has to change. Like, people need to get this through their heads. All the people that are going out and fighting and doing this, support their causes, because not everybody's going to be going out on the front lines. But if you can't support in some way, do something, because it's like everybody's going to benefit should it succeed, right? The people who are doing this, their backs are breaking, and most people that I know that are sitting down fighting this fight in some way, shape, or form are all suffering to a great degree. Every single one,
Yeah.
right? And it'd be a lot easier.
And we're going to start disappearing. Like, we're not going to be able to sustain this. That
No.
people are dropping out. We're losing people. I've lost a friend, to a heart attack not long ago. We lost Charlie a little bit ago as well. I mean, this is what we're up against. We're up against people that want to rule no matter what, and they will absolutely kill you. They will kill you with a bullet. They'll kill you with a jab. They'll kill you with whatever they put in their food in our skies. They don't care. They resent humanity because they want to run the show. So we either stand up as good people or evil will prevail. Period. Evil wins automatically if we do not stand up.
100%, I agree with that. And let's talk, as I know we're going to be coming up here on time, but let's talk about your event that you're doing here in Las Vegas. Let me pull that up here.
Cool. That's the Fraud Fighter Summit, and I'm speaking at the event. I'm loosely trying to help on the back end, just because it's all hands on deck all the time in this wonderful grassroots fraud fighting world that we're all in. And it's going to be a fantastic event. It's coming up in Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Is it next week already? It is. Oh my gosh. 15, 16, 17 in Vegas at the Ahern Hotel. Look at those speakers. Really incredible speakers and great guests. It's going to be so much fun. We've got nearly 700 people registered right now. I think we only had, last I checked about an hour ago, 11 tickets left, 11 seats left available. And I don't know, actually, no, that's down to 10 for sure, because someone just texted me. So there are 10 seats left, I think, maybe, if that. But if you guys go to fraudfightersummit.us, again, that's fraudfightersummit.us, that's what we're looking at on the screen here, and you scroll down, you'll see how many tickets are left. I don't know, if maybe you can, if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see right below. And what does it say down there? Keep going. Right there in the center of the screen right now. How many tickets left? I can't see.
It says 11 tickets available.
11. So it's actually 10 because one just disappeared. But
yes.
What we're going to do is we're also going to show Dark Horse. If you scroll down just a little bit, you'll see Dark Horse. So this is the movie about Bolsonaro. And one of his family members is actually going to be there. This is Jim Caviezel's movie. I think Jim Caviezel is going to be there as well. And this is going to be a world premiere only for the people that are there. That's it. If you're not going to be there in person, you don't get to see Dark Horse there. But we are going to live stream the event, except for Dark Horse. And then, of course, all the fun we have, afterward and hanging out and chit-chatting with everyone. This is all Patriots. It's going to be 700 and plus, I think we're like 750 or 780 of your closest friends all hanging out together Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday next week in Vegas. But not the bad part of Vegas, the good part.
Yes. And I mean, this is like, if you can be there, go and support it. Right, you're having a great line of speakers like Peter Tickton, who I've talked to, and there's a few others like Roseanne Barr and so forth that are going to be there. I mean, go out and hear what's going on, and then get up and do something. Don't just go to the conference, feel good, and then walk away. Continue to engage. We need people to have local action in every community, right? And this is what me and my daughter and some other people, we've been mobilizing people in the United States with the grassroots, and then over here, it's a little slower here because we seem to be more indoctrinated, but to get the people to engage in what they're doing, because a lot of this is not some of it, yes, is a political issue, but a lot of it's a moral issue because of the crime that is being committed. And these are associated with the most egregious crimes. Whenever I look at this, all the people that are involved in the election integrity issues, where the fraud, they're involved in the worst crimes. The same with COVID, because those things are tied together. It's like the biggest treason across the world happening in every country, and they're securing it. And then you see the worst crimes going along with it. And then when I sit down and I see this, it makes me understand that this is exactly what we're seeing, because if you want to break the backs of the fighting force, of the people to resist this, you're going to go after them in all of these different ways. But we have to stop being so focused, hyper focused on how it's affecting us, and look at the bigger picture of what is going on, because they're going after us in multiple different ways, so that we're focused on just the harm that is being done to us, rather than looking at what they're using this to accomplish. And we're watching a color revolution, and the authoritarianism coming down the pipeline being implemented each and every passing day. We have to stop it. We have to stop it.
Correction. We are stopping a color revolution.
Yes.
We are interrupting a color revolution.
Yeah. Yes. But this is what they're trying to accomplish. You look at it, like, I mean, everybody go read up on the CIA color revolutions that they were doing across the globe. And look at what's happening now, and you're going to see that they're trying to implement the same thing. So wake up and continue to stop it faster, because we can do this quickly, or we can draw it out. The choice is up to us.
Yeah. God bless you, man.
All right. So finally, in closing, you want to give your 2 minutes. What do you want to say to people, and how can they reach you and help you?
All right. So check out, my website again, handcountroadshow.org. There's a lot of good content on there. You can see my whole travels. Just scroll down. You'll see everywhere I've been. I've recorded a lot of my presentations. They're on there as well. The big red button takes you right to the Progressive Election Platform. That's our goal. That's how we fix all this. When we get to that, we fixed it. And like Dale just said, we can either do this the short or the long way. I'd rather do this short way. Let's just get active. The more active we get, and the more strategic we get, and the more people we get on top of this project, we will fix this much faster. And also read that the proposed executive order. I suggest you do that. Get involved in your community. You have to do something. If you're not expending effort every day towards reclaiming our elections, then you are not helping the problem. Then if we don't have enough people helping restore our elections back into our hands, we are going to cause us a lot of pain and suffering, and we're going to end up, our inaction or disorganization is going to end up inducing that pain and suffering on our children and our grandchildren. So please, 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 we have no choice. We must do this. Evil prevails when good men do nothing. So good men and women, time is now to stand up.
Yes, and I agree that we have to stand up and do something, because, I mean, if we don't, what's the alternative? We live in a totalitarian society, and we're all sitting in the gulags. Maybe a lot of us won't even survive, and there'll be no future left for the children. And I can't do that. I'd rather go out on my feet than bow to tyranny. I just can't. The only person I bow to is God. And so I'll close here with a prayer. And yes, thank you guys all for coming. Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you for this day, and we thank you for your mercies and grace that you have given us. And Lord, I ask of you this day to watch over the work that Mark is doing, and other people like that, and all the people who are standing up and fighting for the freedom of humanity, and especially for the children, and help that the men and women would come together, and that they would come together in their communities to rebuild their families, their churches, and the communities, and to protect the children from this wickedness, and to preserve liberty for everyone in this country and in the world, is my prayer. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
All right.
Amen. Thank you, man.